Justin?
Yeah, yeah.
Good, we good?
Yeah, we're
Stop.
No, it's still recording.
Yo, it's your man Top T coming live from the top rope. This is the Marking Out Podcast. I am here with the one and only
Nori Omega in the game since Sega. Your boy N.O. Biz Marquis marking out on the Marking Out Podcast. Episode 9. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Probably said that wrong. But alright, man. Probably ain't gonna do too much speaking about Raw or anything because a lot of bombshell news dropped today. I don't know, what do you want to go with first? Do you want to go the Sasha news? That ain't really today's news. You want to go to Vinny Mac or get it started with Matt Riddle?
Definitely a lot of big stories. Definitely, we might as well start off at the top. The breaking news of the day, the Vince McMahon saga and the continued exploitations of his shenanigans.
Vinny Mac back at it again.
Another allegation dropped on the News Journal. He's got another $1 million allegation coming his way. Some hush money he tried to throw to a chick that he apparently sexually assaulted. Who knows if it's true? Who knows if it's not? But this chick wasn't even WWE personnel. Like just a random chick, pretty much. I think she worked at like a nail salon or something like that. And he's applying pressure in all avenues out here.
And basically, what I read about him saying he wanted to come back was he told whomever he trusted or who's ever breaking the story said that he told somebody he didn't think that the allegation, he got bad advice from his lawyers saying that he should disappear because nobody's ever going to forgive or forget this, and he feels as though it's been swept under the rug, nobody cares as much as they used to, and he wants to come back.
Which is hilarious that he feels that way because, we still ain't forget. I don't think that the true fans forgot that, he left for the reason of him being exploited for, sexual allegations. And the same day that he drops this bombshell that he one day wants to return to WWE, he's got another allegation coming out about him. So it's like, when will they actually stop? And, he does come back. Who's to say that these allegations will stop and we won't be right back in the same bucket?
Yeah, I'm going to look up. I know I sent you that Bleacher Report article. They were saying that he could come back, but it's a good chance he still won't because of who he has to go through. Even though he still does, the numbers, he has like 80% of the...
Yeah, the share or the votes, 80%. He's got majority vote as far as the board goes. 80% is the weight that he holds because he has majority shares.
Okay, according to this Bleacher Report article, the last paragraph states, that suggests that there is at least some level of possibility that McMahon could return to his previous positions within WWE at some point. But if the board of directors decides to block him or even take legal action against him, it may not be a realistic option. But the thing about WWE that I like to point out so often is, yes, it might be a multi-million dollar, maybe billion-dollar corporation, but it's still run like a mom and pop.
To an extent, I mean, it's definitely a global commodity, but the core values, I definitely feel like it's a family operation.
Yeah.
They stick to the people that they know, and things of that. And at the end of the day, that's the head of the table for real, Vince McMahon.
And do you really think that they're going to lose any money if he would come back? I don't think so.
Yes, I do. I truly do, and for two reasons. I feel like just overall interest in the product is going to drop. So, the way that WrestleMania for next year sold out within days, Royal Rumble sold out without anything being announced, Survivor Series sold out without anything being announced. That has everything to do with who's in charge right now. So Vince McMahon comes back, we won't get those sellouts the same way. And also, it's been reported by Brandon Thurston, we were just talking about him, the numbers guy. He was talking, the shareholders are really happy with the way things are going right now. So, like, shareholders might lose interest if Vince McMahon comes back. And as we spoke about last week, they're going into their next TV negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
So TV, you bring Vince McMahon on, that's gonna fuck up the deal. To be honest with you, like
If they expect to get that Fox bag again somehow, some way, or a bag as big as that, or a network as major as that, then yes, that could play a part in it. But if they're just expecting to go back to USA Network, I don't think it's going to mess up the bag at all. To be honest,
overall interest of the product, I know will drop.
I mean, I think that the WWE's numbers are, even when they're really good compared to when they're really bad, to still always be above 1.5 mil in the 2 mil area. Like it's threading needles for the most part. The product is better, no doubt. Not saying that it's not.
The numbers are too.
But like the people that are really invested in WWE, it's hard to get a bandwagon WWE person off the boat.
You're still gonna have your dedicated fans. Like I know I'm gonna still watch, regardless of who's in it. It's just gonna be shittier TV, and I'm not gonna like what I'm watching. But the numbers are definitely higher because when not even that long ago, we're talking 2022. All this year, Raw hit the lowest numbers that they've ever had in history, and then flip that around, Raw's had the highest numbers that they've had in the last 3 years since Triple H has been in charge. So it's like,
yeah, and wrestling's one of the things that where another sport, if the NFL's doing its thing on Monday nights, it affects the ratings. The World Series every year affects the ratings because I think USA doesn't have anything, but it could like block out Fox sometimes, or just the sport being played in general. On
yeah, Monday Night Football. So that's Monday Night Football. They're drawing 14 million.
There's no escaping that.
Yeah, that's definitely going to play a part.
Because the ratings when SmackDown's on FS1 is abysmal.
That's a fact. Because SmackDown's like around the 2.5 mark every week. On FS1, that shit's like $1 million, under $1 million.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
Nasty
bad.
business.
But Raw's been consistently 2 million plus for the last couple of months. Like, it's huge difference.
Now, like we had a conversation last night, the parts of the show under Vince McMahon wouldn't run so slow, and it looks like guys are having they're allowed to kind of freestyle their way out there a little bit. As much as I love Johnny Gargano, the wrestler, his segments with what's the dude, Loomis, they're hard to watch sometimes, man. You gotta let dude talk or something because it's a lot of dead air in the room.
He definitely needs to move over to a talker.
And they just walked out with like no music at first yesterday, and it's just like their spots seem mad random. And Johnny Gargano gets a lot of TV time almost.
He's definitely got a segment every week. You've got your people that are definitely on there, but the thing about him having the TV time, they're trying to build it into a story, which is not the greatest story. Every story on Raw is not a home run, but everything is tied to a story. So with the whole Loomis and Miz shit that's really been going on since Loomis debuted, they're trying to move it into a direction, which I can respect that. At least they're trying to be creative with there's a lot of cracks in that story, but they're doing a ladder match for a reason.
I just think if Vince did come in again, which I honestly, in all honesty, I don't think he's coming back. But there would be there's certain parts that you could see Vince kind of tidying up a little bit, making it cleaner, giving more credit to like Kevin Dunn producing it more so correctly. H gives these people time to learn on the job, which is nothing wrong with that. Raw's a 3-hour show. Like it only shows the flaws on Raw because it's a 3-hour show.
You can't escape,
and that's it.
You can't escape the fact that it's 3 hours. Like that shit is it could be the best book show in the world. It's still too fucking long.
Yeah, and then when compared to SmackDown, Fox has priority advertisements. If you peep when you watch SmackDown every week, it's consistently over 2 minutes before 10. Every week. It's always over at 9:58. SmackDown, on the other hand, yeah, they have big advertisements, but not as many. And they're not tied into the slot like I think they will be on a Fox network. When people are paying to be advertisements on Fox, they expect it to be shown at that place point. No double screen. What's that called?
Picture in picture.
No picture in picture. But on Raw, they can get away with going the first hour and no commercials. Shit like that.
Yeah, and Fox, they tie into the 10 o'clock news. So, I mean, that's a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, SmackDown is the lead into the 10 o'clock news. So that ties into them cutting it at 9:58.
But do you see what I mean, though, with certain things that if Vince was there, he could at least... I give Vince at least enough respect to say he could clean some of that shit up.
I respect your opinion. I totally disagree.
From the story aspect, I'm not saying he will make it better.
I feel
I'm
like...
saying it would be cleaner.
Like the way that the show flows.
There's usually never no dead space in a world with in a show with Vince.
See, but I look at it differently because when I look at the way Vince used to book, and I know what you mean, like as far as the way that it flowed,
The production of it.
It was smooth. One thing led into another, in a way, but nothing made sense. And I look at that as a viewer, so I break it down to like what ties into the next thing. The way Triple H does it, everything bobs and weaves into the other. So somebody's segment might actually tie in with the previous one, and somehow those stories, like there's a lot of connective tissue going on.
But I don't understand how you can't take the production aspect of it, because it has nothing to do with the storytelling aspect of it, and make it cleaner. Make it a cleaner cut.
I mean, what you mean though? Are you talking about like the camera edits? Or are you talking about the way
not
that
even just camera edits,
that the show flows? I'm talking about the nuance of the show.
Even in these segments with Gargano and everything, it's either overly wordy or just like dead space. We're both musicians. We know that when something feels too wordy or when it has too much space to it,
yeah,
you know the importance of an ad lib,
right?
Or just to tidy it up. It didn't need that much time to begin with.
And I'm trying to think about it. So, all right. So I'm gonna talk about a couple of things that I did like about that segment, and then hit me with the shit that you don't like. Because when they did like they were picking up the T-shirts from the like the stage, like the concession stands, and then they were like, yeah, we came into this money. They dropped the bag on the counter. They picking up all the shirts. They're like, we're gonna go ahead and head out to the arena and to the ring and give out these shirts. No music hit. I like that because we already knew that they were coming. We didn't need an entrance music. It was just him on the mic introducing himself.
But they still did it, and it sounded weird
when
they did it when they're already halfway down the ramp.
They put the Christmas music on. It wasn't Johnny Gargano's music. To me, that shit made sense. Like it just, like if I was there, if I was watching that shit live in person, that crowd was dead as fuck. But if I was there, I'd have been like, I understand why they're putting on Christmas music. It's that time of the year. Everything makes sense.
But you even said it through text that would have made more sense to use that middle ground when they were coming out. That should have been a commercial angle. So when you came back, you should have had the Christmas music playing with them handing out the shit.
Or like a house show.
This is all nickel and dime shit. I get it. I'm just saying when it comes to the nickel and dime shit, I think that's where Vince thrives, on the presentation of his show. Maybe not the storytelling, but the presentation to whomever he's catering to, which 9 times out of 10 is the children, not us as grown adult fans. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But from big business, there's a reason why WWE looks the way it does compared to AEW, presentation wise.
Yeah, they've got production value. Absolutely. They're everything. Their production is,
and sometimes
by far better.
Sometimes under Triple H, unless it's like a big Roman segment or a big Bianca segment, it kind of looks NXT vibe-ish. Like it seems like he dumbs it down for them guys to kind of get their what's the word I'm looking for? Their exposure. And
are you looking at it like that because the people aren't stars yet? Because honestly, I don't see that at all. Like I still see Raw. When I look at Raw, I still see the quality of Raw. It's just that the people that are coming out are not Bianca. They're not Roman. They're still, they have to build up. That shit would never happen if Vince was in charge.
This is what I'm gonna say. Remember, we had the conversation last week about NXT and how it's not built to be an indie show, a great show, any of that.
And my
It's
argument
built-
was the presentation was fire.
And it's built to when these guys get ready, they know the cameras, they know this and that. With these guys, you're learning that they were just great wrestlers. I think Johnny Gargano does a great job as long as he's not going to be slated as the number one guy. Because he's like the Chad Gable. To me, he's a Chad Gable-esque.
And Chad Gable is one of the biggest, brightest stars on Raw.
He 1,000. He gets it. But he is one of the few that get it, that came up from NXT. Like, the Dexter Lumis thing is just odd. I don't think it's going to work.
But, bro, Chad Gable has also been on the main roster for 5 years. It took him so long to get to the point that he's at now because he did have to learn on the job. Like, you bringing up people like Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis who were just in NXT this year. So we can't expect them to be mind-blowing stars. They have to work to that.
But I don't think Solo had the problem. Granted, he's protected, but
Bro,
I'll give you a better.
He's not a good example.
But no, I'm going to give you another one. Great. When Grayson Waller gets caught up, he's going to get it right away. He already gets it.
He's got hella charisma.
Even when he's on the few times he was on the main roster already, he got it. He knows where them cameras are. He knows the hits. He knows the formulaic outcome of this.
He's definitely an entertainer. He's got the charisma. He's got that down pat. I can't say he's gonna be an off top success story. Like even Bianca Belair, like she came out as a star in my opinion out of NXT, but it even took her almost 2 years to get to where she's at now. Like she was not popping when she first came on the main roster. She wasn't.
I can't remember her like.
I mean,
when
she came, it was
when
like
they pushed her. They didn't even touch her for a while. You gotta remember that too. She was with the Street Profits. Her first feud was the Zelina feud when Zelina drugged Montez Ford.
Yeah,
and they were called up.
That.
And that's the thing. That's the thing I give you. When somebody traditionally now gets called up, they're called up and brought to TV to be an active part. Not in the days of Vince where you're called up and you're sitting on the bench for a year.
Yeah, or you might get a match here and there, and if you don't get over, you're never seen again. I.e., Karrion Kross with the fucking suspenders and the mask on, his presentation was ruined. That's the type of shit that I'll be talking about.
Yeah, so I think the way they went with NXT was the example of what I'm trying to say is guys are going to be ready. I don't think some of these guys were ready. And to see it with the women, they didn't get a chance. Like for Tegan Knox, she didn't get a fair shot from the jump because she got released and got hurt. And now she came back. Nobody knows who she is. She has it all working against her.
They tried. I'll say I think that they're also learning on the job too, like Triple H and them. Because when he was just bringing up all these people that got released that nobody knew, he was just bringing them on the TV and expecting people to know who they were. But with Tegan Knox, they dropped a whole 3-minute video package of her, doing the Mae Young Classic.
But they depend too much on do I remember you from NXT? And here's the biggest problem. Anybody in entertainment will tell you, whether you're a comedian, you're a singer, a rapper, whatever, that little auditorium feel compared to the big stage, a 2,000 seat venue compared to a 20,000 seat venue, it's a big difference. So you look bigger than you actually are. And not to say these guys weren't great for what they did in NXT, but now, even NXT's best ratings at 1, maybe 1 million at the time, 2 million people were still watching Raw. There's 1 million people that really aren't interested.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's like they were bringing them people, like you said, bringing them up and expecting you to rely on remembering them from NXT. But I think they're learning from that because they gave Tegan Knox like a 3-minute, like that video package. That's what they need. Before you just bring somebody up into a match or into a feud, give us some background on them so people can get invested.
But that's all fine and dandy when you're a new company. Like you can't rely on just the old NXT days. Even if it's a video package from old NXT, people aren't diving into it.
But bro, to that point, more people.
Even the dirt sheets weren't talking about. Oh, I wonder when Tegan Knox is coming back. There wasn't even excitement on that behalf.
Well, I mean, it was exciting. Hardcores are gonna see her and get excited because they're happy to see her.
I love her. I think she's one of the best female wrestlers there.
But to that point, though, it's like more people watch NXT back then than they do now. So it's even worse of a situation if you call up somebody like Carmelo Hayes or, you know, Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy, because nobody knows them, because nobody watches NXT.
But would you rather them have it and they understand their placement and understand themselves as a character? And that's why these guys,
absolutely.
That's why these guys are like getting. That's the whole purpose of this whole new system. If you don't get it within a couple months, you're out of there. If you don't get it as you train to get on TV, if you can't make it through training, you're out of there. If you make it through training, you get on TV and it's not working, you might get a gimmick change once or twice. Don't work, you're out of there. If you're there too long and they can't seem to fit you anywhere on main roster, you're out of there. You have to get it.
Nah, I absolutely. So I get what you're saying as far as like knowing TV, understanding TV, and how the whole flow of being on TV works. Getting that is a big thing. You still got to get over it.
But that's a Vince McMahon thing. That's what I'm saying. That system that he built, I might not like NXT as much as I used to, but I understand how in the bigger picture that's better for main roster. And NXT was never supposed to be what it turned into under Triple H. Triple H did a great thing. He made a great indie scene. He made the best indie show on the planet. But translating the main roster, it didn't do the greatest for everybody. They went on the main roster and still had to find a new thing, a new character. Damian Priest had to find a new character. Matt Riddle ain't even really the same character he was. We'll get into him in a second. Elias didn't work. He had his own character when he got to the main roster. Switched it up. Finally got something that's gone. And sometimes the gimmicks is needed to fill them spots, man.
I mean, a lot of them cats that you just named, they literally were plug and plays. So like Elias came with the guitar. I think that is situational, bro.
Even as popping as Rhea Ripley was, she didn't find her place on the main roster till now.
But
they tried to force her when she first came up, and it didn't work. The crowd wasn't reacting.
But that's what I was saying earlier. When people get called up, it's not an immediate thing. It took Bianca Belair 2 years to get on. It took Rhea 2 years to get over. Like, it takes everybody time. Like, you're not just getting called up and you're gonna be an instant star. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, but off of the old system.
Those
are the guys benefiting from the old system. Now I could be wrong. Only time will tell with these new guys coming from this new system.
That's what I think.
But I think Carmelo Hayes, Waller, Gacy, I think they have a better chance at coming.
I think what's gonna get them over is their charisma. I think that Carmelo Hayes is gonna be a hit because of his charisma. I get the TV thing, but I also feel like you have to still have the ability to connect with people and get over it.
But there's something said about Vince being able to find stars, and that charisma of being a star. Maybe not the Hollywood star, but just a star in the wrestling business to fit you and slot you somewhere. That's something to be said to just giving somebody that can wrestle good.
No,
I love Candice LeRae, but nothing about her screams star. I love Zoe Starks, but nothing about her screams star.
But yo, you can't have a million stars and nobody else. First of all, you can't have that. You also can't run a company off of 5 stars. Like, you have to have people that aren't top tier talent. You have to have that because you have to have time to fill in spots. Number one, you got to give time for people to get over. When the Attitude Era was going on, you had 5, 6, 7 stars, but you also had a shit ton of mid-card level talent.
But the jobbers were stars. We still know Al Snow's name to this day. The Grand Girls. I said they didn't have to be like superstars that even needed a belt. If you had a star that could make a name for themselves, the Hurricane Helms.
Absolutely, but Raw has a lot of that right now. We're just living in the time, and then people put too much focus on being a star where you don't realize that a lot of these people are really fucking stars. You know what I'm saying?
Like, if nobody's a star at their job, not even just the working wrestling talent. For example, Booker T is not a star at commentary. The dude they just put in place of the bald dude that was the ring announcer. You
talking about Kevin Patrick?
Kevin Patrick. He is not a star.
He's just not a
that
good
star
commentator.
is Corey Graves is a star. Michael Cole is a star.
They're great commentators too. Kevin Patrick is not a great
He's
commentator.
garbage.
He's in the wrong spot for sure. But
And the
when he
way
was on
that-
when he did backstage segments, he was good at
And
that.
Byron Saxton, to me, I don't like him in the backstage segments.
I prefer Byron on commentary.
Exactly. Like I don't. Some of the transitions I question because these guys, I know they're giving them time, but the thing is, Vince was putting you in a place when he knew you was a star.
See, I can't give Vince that much credit. I love what he's done in the past, but a lot of the shit he's done in the last 2 years has been fucking ridiculous. So like those commentator teams, those shits transition. You got to think they had somebody new coming in every 2 months. Back like when Vince was around since COVID, they were moving people in and out of commentary on a bi-weekly basis.
But it was never as bad as this.
Well, they only changed
Well,
once.
maybe even Raw because Wade Barrett does a great job.
Yeah, he does. I didn't even bring him up. I'm just talking about Raw because
I think I'm too picky on certain things, and I get it. But I think under Vince, at least the commentary aspect, you've heard the stories about how he's on people's asses. He wouldn't stand for the shit that's going on now. Did you peep last night when the Bailey segment when they were trying to put the mic on Bailey at the desk, and they couldn't even find another mic. They're always having technical issues, and that's not part of the show.
Kevin Patrick is not a good commentator, and Corey Graves, he points that shit out. So I don't know if that was a situation that Kevin Patrick brought upon, like with the mics and shit.
He don't know what to do in the rest.
He doesn't, and Corey Graves knows it, and he literally is trying to work. He's trying to make lemonade out of sour lemons. Like he'll literally point out when Kevin Patrick says some dumb shit. Like Corey Graves knows Kevin Patrick is not it, and I think that everybody does. They're just giving Mans a shot. But yo, at least what I can appreciate is they're letting commentators just go out there and be them. When Vince was in Gorilla feeding them lines and they just said the most formulaic, nonsensical bullshit. Like Michael Cole even came on what's the name show, Pat McAfee's show, and said it like, I feel more free now. Like they feel like they have freedom to just be themselves.
I just feel like there's not a middle ground being met. I think you need to fine comb some people until they earn the respect to be able to talk by themselves. There's no reason that the whatever Kevin Patrick should be allowed to say whatever he wants because he's new. Like he's new to the game and he's not doing well with freestyle.
He's new to the commentator game.
And that hurts a show, bro. That hurts a show a lot.
I agree. And I think that we can both agree that he's the only bad commentator in WWE right now.
And Booker.
Booker at least has experience. He was a commentator before, so he's just.
But that's a big part of the show, bro.
He's good though. He's just annoying. So it's like he's not everybody's cup of tea. Like you said the other day, he's an acquired taste.
He is, and then the more I was watching it, I'm like, I just don't think he's good. He gets his catchphrases in. I think he just thinks he's King JR-esque, I guess, and tries to get it in.
He is a heel commentator to the core.
Yeah, I'm cool. It didn't work out on main roster for a reason years and years ago, so I don't know why they're revisiting it. But this to be said, you believe that I don't believe Vince should be back neither. You definitely don't believe Vince should be back.
If the good die young was a person, and I only say that to say Vince McMahon ain't good. That was harsh. That was harsh. The good die young. If the good die young was a person, Vince McMahon is not good. That was harsh. But that was a bar. But what I'm trying to say is, nah, fuck that. I never want to see him back. I didn't even want to talk that much about it because until it becomes real reality, I'm appreciating what we getting right now. Because honestly, if Vince McMahon comes back, everything that we have been starting to appreciate about wrestling is going to be shitty again. And it's been real hard to watch Raw for the last couple of years, and now it's still hard to watch it because that shit's 3 hours, but at least now it's somewhat exciting. And matches make sense, and pay-per-views have meaning because the people that they're putting matches in have real fucking feuds.
It would make sense for them to make this sell before he comes back if he tried to. I would sell the company and just do like a UFC thing where they want Dana White to still run everything. You'd want Triple H, Nick Khan, and Stephanie to still run it. Just sell the company.
That shit would be The heist of the cinch. Damn, that shit would be some Ocean's 11 type shit.
Word. But all that to be said, I mean, I just think Vince was good at the, not the nucleus of things, but just building the, what's the word I'm looking for? Building the, not the nucleus, but building everything around it to be great. He just didn't have great ideas.
I just feel like that man lost his way, and he's just too old to do it now. It's just because honestly, if he comes back, I feel like he would just come back because of ego, because he sees his daughter and his son-in-law
1000%.
killing it, and he just wants to get his spot back. And it'll be no good for anybody, and nobody. That's the reason why Sasha left.
Let's get into that. But
Yep.
so it's being reported that Sasha's working Wrestle Kingdom 17, I think it is. It is said that there's been rumors that she could be Saraya's tag team partner for an upcoming AEW event. And I would tell you this, I'm saying cap. Because the report is when she does show up at Wrestle Kingdom, it is not to wrestle. It's not to be against Kairi Sane. It's to make an appearance. She's playing the money grab. Multiple people by multiple podcast hosts have said that everybody they talk to say Sasha has no interest in joining AEW. Zero.
I feel like she's gonna be a big time free agent. I also don't think she's gonna go all the way to Japan and not wrestle. She's gonna work.
Which I personally think they're gonna give her that deal that Daniel Bryan wanted to work some stuff in there and to keep her character fresh. And I think she's gonna scale it back so she can do the movie stuff. Now she's trying to incorporate other businesses. She got a bunch of licenses for music and stuff. So she's trying to do a bunch of different things. Nobody's going to be able to give her the bag she wants besides WWE.
Let's be real though. So right now WWE with Triple H in charge, they're already working those what Daniel Bryan wanted deals. Something that would never happen under Vince. But you got Carl Anderson working Wrestle Kingdom as well.
Yep.
He's defending his open weight championship. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. But, dirt sheets, they go, it's like a flip of the coin. You can hear this story or that story because there's also the same rumors about Sasha Banks, like you said, possibly working with Saraya or possibly coming back to WWE. But that girl, her worth is, she's got hella worth. And I think she knows it.
But I think I don't know what she's asking. But
Triple H would be a fool to let her walk out the door.
Not if it's for too much though. Because you gotta realize, she's a fan favorite. But she's everything you would ever want in a wrestler. And just herself is over. But like if she's asking for an undeniable bag, it's not like this kills me to say. It's not like she is the full total package. She just wrestles so great and her look is so good that she's a star.
She is a star. Going back to talking about being stars. She is a draw. And there's too many fingers pointing to her doing work outside of the WWE for me to even possibly think that she's not going to wrestle elsewhere. Like, you got Jay White saying she would be a great addition to the Bullet Club. And, you've got Kairi Sane posting pictures of her versus Sasha, like a graphic, like dream match, ? Type shit. And then you got rumors talking about...
though, too, man.
And, I mean, dirt sheets are trolls, wrestlers are trolls. The truth is to be spoken. So, because I was reading something saying that, there's AEW talk in the background or in the backstage about excitement for Sasha Banks to join AEW.
But if she's under contract, she can't talk to them.
I don't think she's going to sign an AEW contract. I would be remiss to think that she didn't have conversations about working a match. I really feel as though she's about to do some real independent shit for a while.
But her contract is going to be frozen. So I think even if she attempts to do another match, unless it's okay by WWE, they might let her work these Japan dates if she wants to. But I think you'd almost be a fool to think that she wouldn't come back at some point, some capacity, because her deal is frozen.
But see that they said Naomi's deal was frozen. Sasha Banks was never confirmed her contract status. Actually, they just said her contract is up at the end of the year. Her WWE contract is supposed to be up at the end of 2022.
But they could still freeze it for the time she hasn't been working. Unless she did something crazy out of pocket, which she really hasn't done.
Just, when there's smoke, there's fire. I just really feel as though we're about to see a lot of Sasha Banks in the next couple of months. My dog. Shout out to Sammy for the My Dog Pro Wrestling tees.
Everything going to Syria. The fighters cause. But yeah, so I would be very remiss if Sasha didn't show back up on WWE. The thing is, the women's roster is better. She will shine brighter with the WWE than she will elsewhere. New Japan ain't gonna. If you're being honest, New Japan really is a third brand is the third in ranking compared to WWE, AEW. They've been their struggles are blasted everywhere. That's why Kenny Omega has to go back there to kind of bring the ratings back. Okada and them are getting old. Tanahashi's dumb old.
Yeah, I mean she's gonna do what she want to do. Like
Jay White is like not appealing. He's the weakest head of the Bullet Club there's been.
Sasha Banks has said out her own mouth though that she wants to work Japan. Like she said that, and we can only really go off of that. So she doesn't have to sign anywhere. Her name holds enough weight because she is a star where she can go in and work a match. She's got drawing power. So if I had to guess and make a real prediction, is she's going to work some independent shit for the next few months, and we're going to see Sasha Banks matches maybe until Mania.
I'll give her the belt collector gimmick. If that's what they want to do, that's how you bring her back major than ever. If you're not going to give her the belt, put her in a position to where Ronda Rousey's going to keep a hold of her belt until she's done with WWE. Bianca Belair, that belt is going to be in the mix between three people: Becky, Bianca, and whoever's there. For the third option at the point, probably Rhea Ripley now. So you want to make her important? You got to pull the AEW shit. Well, just make her the belt collector when she goes on WWE TV. I mean, don't defend the belt on TV, but you want to make her look good. Have her have 4 different belts on her arms.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Cause for real, it's not even New Japan that would make me excited about Sasha. Cause Kairi Sane's over there, and that's a new roster for them to even enter the women's thing.
Yeah, because I mean they still primarily Stardom talent. Yeah. It's all Stardom.
But Stardom is the big women's belt out there. Now you want to get me excited? Put Sasha in the ring with Stardom joints, because the Stardom joints are where all the stars are.
Well, I mean that's talk too. So I mean Kairi Sane's work Stardom. Like that's basically where the New Japan women's team is coming from Stardom. But like from what the rumors are saying, Sasha Banks is gonna run a circuit from New Japan, Stardom, AEW. Like
she's not going to AEW. I promise you.
I won't be shocked. I think that is definitely
and if she goes to Stardom,
I think it's a real possibility.
If she goes to AEW, Britt Baker better run for the hills.
I don't think she's gonna go to AEW and stay though. That's the thing.
And
I don't think she's signing no contract.
That'd be even worse.
I think she's gonna do.
She'll expose them chicks on there. There ain't a chick on that roster.
Oh no.
Maybe besides Thunder Rosa, that move for move with the shit that Sasha can do. I told you.
The best one is gonna be Athena. I mean, that's a hands down.
Even.
Ember Moon can go, and that's.
But she's a ringer. She's ROH. She's gonna be on the ROH wave. They don't even care to put her on that main roster no more.
Because they are fucking fools. But I mean, that's a Joshi right there. She came from Japan. She knows strong style. Like that's her thing. So
strong style, it's Merc style.
I mean,
she mucking everybody up.
From a wrestling standpoint, they got a good one, and they not even.
And AEW even got stink on their name anyways. FTR getting out of there. And that's FTR, homeboy Dax is like one of Sasha's best friends. And then FTR just said they're probably going to dip out for a year. Now, it could be just contract negotiation BS, whatever. But you see the way they've been booked there.
I mean, they've been booked. They've been booked pretty strong, right?
They've been booked.
FTR is the top tag team on there besides the Acclaim.
They have, but they've been given every other belt. I mean, I think they had one run with the AEW tag team belts.
They have
But
they've
only
had
want-
them, but not when they've been like the collector status.
Yeah, and they just keep giving them every other belt besides the one they actually deserve. That's disrespect to them.
I mean,
The match everybody wants. Yo, they've had 3
So
matches
look.
against the Briscoes. When have they had a match against the Bucks?
they have. They had but this is right before they actually had. The way that they got the belts was from the Bucks. When they first won the run that you were talking about, they got that from the Bucks. But when they beat the Briscoes, they were supposed to have a match with the Bucks, but they Bucks got injured. So
Then
that,
what's
that
the big
never
thing
happened.
now? I'm not gonna act like I know a bunch of shit about AEW. I know bits and pieces. But what's the big thing now where the Bucks don't want to work with them?
Oh, I didn't hear anything about that. Maybe it's backstage shit. That I don't know. I ain't
And I'm gonna
heard
keep it
about
I'll keep it a buck about the Bucks. I don't think CM Punk was necessarily wrong about how shit gets booked over there. I really don't think he was wrong.
that. But he was still a little crybaby for doing it.
1,000%.
Saying it the way that he said it, it doesn't make him any better or less toxic than the locker room. So he
1,000%.
might be right, but it's like he's a part of the problem clearly because of the way that he delivered it.
1,000%. But I really see the Bucks having a,
They
strong hold on that.
They look
got
like
Tony Khan's ear all the time. On some Sammy Guevara type time.
they look like a couple of pricks. They look like high and mighties, but they also look like they put people over. They put Lucha Bros over. But honestly, the hottest tag team in AEW right now is the Acclaim, and FTR just had a match with them, a banger. They gave FTR the #1 contender spot for that. That shit was a whole banger, and I think that they were right for keeping the belts on the Acclaim because that's the hottest act in AEW right now, hand over fist. So it's like, why have them drop the belts to the FTR just to give FTR 4 belts?
Yeah, but when you go by what Dax has even said in the past with like small beefs or certain things he doesn't understand why they haven't been booked for so long on the show.
They were in the cut for a while.
Yeah, that he's saying like, I don't know what's going on. That whole thing about the video game was kind of weird because they've been there long enough to be in the video game
And they're
they
not
were
in the
left off,
game.
and they
Yeah.
lose bread for that. So you would feel some type of way for that. You're losing bread.
No,
'Cause
I
you
feel
put
that.
Punk on there, but Punk was there after them. It's little shit like that. And I think Sasha, anywhere she goes, I think that her going around the world and wrestling, that's a passion thing. That's why I don't think she's pressed to go to AEW. I think she wants to be a belt collector, not even a belt collector, but in the sense of just wrestling
She
around
just
the
wants
world.
to wrestle everywhere.
I think this is her passion. She's been doing this. She didn't graduate high school. She's been doing this forever. It's a passion project.
Exactly.
But if you want her stateside and you want her to stay in WWE, you don't have to pay to play. And she probably wants a crazy
You're
bag.
gonna have to throw the bag at her, and they're gonna have to make it worth it for her to be happy. Because you said it right there, it's her passion. She said it out her own mouth that she wants to work other places. So because of that passion, that's why it's not gonna be a surprise to me to see her show up in Japan or in AEW, because I know she wants to do that, and her name value is strong enough for her to not have to sign a contract and them just for appearances throw her a bag. I won't be surprised. I also won't be surprised if she comes back to WWE.
And this is the thing as well. So I think she'll end up in WWE. I think she'll end up working Japan. I think she'll probably work out a deal that has something to do with like the Daniel Bryan deal, or what there was to be of the Daniel Bryan deal. But if she doesn't go to WWE, it's only going to help her. I think WWE at some point holds her back. I don't believe her mouth is as strong. Her promos are strong. I think they're scripted for her. I don't think she gets to talk and say what she wants to say. And I don't know if she's that great of a talker, period. Her promos have never moved me, but her attitude, the sass is kind of what her
whole
thing
swag,
is.
it's everything.
But if you let her go around the world, the New Japan, Stardom, I think I have a feeling she'll probably end up doing some the Lucha Libre thing, the AAA thing probably. Shit like that, because she's always working down with the Mexicans down there in Lucha Libre. You put her in these promotions where she barely has to talk, and she's just maybe she's not even just collecting belts, she's just winning.
She's just working. She could just have matches. They don't even have to be title matches.
But she's the
just gonna
star
work
herself. You put her on the podcast.
Exactly.
You put her she can brand herself.
Exactly.
And I think she knows that.
She does.
WWE built her up enough to know
bro,
she's a star.
She's on Star Wars. She's on The Mandalorian. She's a household name at this point. She's moving into Hollywood.
And I'm
so
telling
it's
you
like
right
her
now,
name is gonna bring is gonna be a draw regardless of where she goes.
Just like when The Rock had got the Mummy, WWE was put on notice that he ain't gonna be around for long. As Sasha Banks for Star Wars, you giving her one of the biggest brand names around. Signed her to a deal. Star Wars alone, at that with Disney. Yo, you gotta talk bread to keep her around.
Absolutely.
Even if you can say WWE built her to be a star like this, y'all wasn't expecting Star Wars to come around the corner. Now anything she wants to do can be a passion project.
Yep.
And she only has to work maybe a quarter of the year for Star Wars.
Yo, she's set on the bag. She owns CBD companies and all types of shit. It's all gonna be off of what she wants to do, and I know that girl wants to wrestle, man. She ain't had a match since. I'd just be shocked if the first place we see her, the first place we're gonna see her is in the Tokyo Dome, and she 1000% is gonna set. If she's not wrestling there, she'll set up a match there.
That news is kind of weird. That Tokyo Dome thing is she's literally just set for an appearance. It's not for a match.
That's what they're saying. She's not scheduled. And first of all, Wrestle Kingdom I think is in January, so we still got time. That shit might change, but there's no way that this news has been coming out the way it has, and she's just gonna show up there and then that's it. She is going to work in Japan.
Yeah, but also
Absolutely.
The thing with all this Sasha news, it's been so long, bro. So many different things have been reported. They've all been capped.
This is the first thing that's a fact, though.
How we know it's a fact, though?
Because Wrestle Kingdom announced it. It's already announced that she is going to be at Wrestle Kingdom. That's a stone cold fact from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So this is the first piece of news that we have that's actually true.
But this is why I think she's back with WWE, because WWE would have the right to freeze the contract to say, oh, that's fine and dandy that they put you out there on the card, but until it happens, I don't think it'll happen. You can be scheduled for a lot of things.
I don't know. I think she's gonna be at Wrestle Kingdom, bro.
But I said I do
truly
too.
don't think that there's
But
anything around that, and then WWE I think would be the last people to stop that from happening because she walked out of the company, bro. She straight up Cody Rhodes did. Like honestly,
but Cody Rhodes didn't walk out on WWE. His deal was up.
His contract was up. Hers is up at the end of the year. That's what I'm saying.
He worked until his was up. He didn't have nothing stopping him much to Dean Ambrose.
I actually think that's like it, right? I feel like that's a great comparison. The Cody Rhodes route, it might not last as long, but he left WWE, worked independence, worked Japan, clearly made a company, and then, came back. I can see Sasha doing that.
But it was a long way, and to be fair, Sasha was a bigger star than Cody ever was on every single circuit.
At that time, yeah.
I mean,
she's not now.
She's a bigger star than Cody was on any show he ever worked on.
Back then, but not now. Cody is definitely a bigger draw in wrestling than Sasha Banks.
Cody Rhodes in main event WrestleMania.
He will. He only been on one WrestleMania since he came back.
Until it happens, player.
So his return, which was literally just this year, was the biggest moment in WWE this year.
I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Yes, his biggest moment was this year.
Not his biggest moment. The biggest moment in WWE was Cody's return. He got an ESPY for it. So it's like, where Sasha Banks got an ESPY when she main evented Mania, so you might as well say those two moments are on the same level.
They are, but even the matches that Cody Rhodes is having with Seth, that Bianca-Sasha match, it just signed and delivered. And I think that Sasha has put in so much great time in WWE. Yeah, Cody Rhodes is hot right now. But what happened? We both know this, bro. Your character goes the wrong way just a little bit, goes off track, you could be right back in that mid-card.
Cody Rhodes,
sandwich.
I'm going to tell you right now, yo. Cody Rhodes ain't going to no mid-card.
Kevin Owens was one of the hottest commodities for a while, and then where did he slip to? Even when Sasha was in the middle card, she still was a star at any point.
I guess only time to tell. But yo,
people signed to WWE to want to wrestle Sasha.
see, I don't wanna speculate on something that never happened because Cody Rhodes ain't even back yet. But to book his demise, bro, this man left, worked independence, became a megastar, created a whole company that's currently in competition with
And
WWE,
they ain't like him since day one.
and came back. But like, what's the argument? Like, he still did it. So it's like he came back.
There's no argument against him. He's still the man. He's still a fire ass wrestler.
He is going to be the top guy in WWE for one of the top guys in WWE for the foreseeable future.
But that's
bro.
to be said. What Sasha has done and proved already. For you to have to struggle and come back. Yes, you might be a great underdog story. But what stayed relevant the last couple years in WWE was Sasha. Say what you want.
Oh, no,
The
I agree.
horsewoman, she's injury prone. That's it.
Top tier, and the reason why women's wrestling is what it is right now.
It's because of
Absolutely.
Sasha Banks.
Yes, sir. Sasha, the four horsewomen, absolutely. Sasha being, in my opinion, the leader
And
of
no
that
matter
charge.
what, and I'll take it a step further. As great as Cody is, and he will be, he will never have the impact of the four horsewomen. He never will have a movement that big and be able to say, my wrestling backed it up.
You know why that's not true? AEW. He created a company off of his wrestling, dog. He created
But we're
WWE's
talking, we're talking
competition.
about what you meant to WWE.
I'm talking about what you meant to wrestling, but okay. So what you meant to WWE, he hasn't had the chance to make that clean yet.
And that's fair. But the thing is, he's working from behind when it comes to putting somebody like the stature of Sasha.
If we're just talking
And
about
how
WWE
young
legacy,
she still
no.
is. How young
100%.
she still is. Her best days are not even behind her. Cody Rhodes is a middle-aged man, probably late 30s, and he already said before he didn't want to wrestle more than a couple more years. Sasha has years on years on years. She is still very young, so her best days aren't even behind her.
I mean,
Cody Rhodes wanted to be a Hollywood star. Guess who already is a Hollywood star?
Sasha Banks. So the only reason we making comparisons, by the way, is from that statement that I said that Sasha Banks is gonna do the Cody route. She's gonna leave, work Indies, work Japan, and come back. Same thing that Cody did and came back a bigger star for it. Sasha Banks already built her star power in WWE, and she's gonna be able to do that. It's not really she's doing that for the love of it, for the passion of it.
To prove. He
has something to prove. So it's like a flip-flop story. You got a Cinderella story, and then you got, I don't even know, a character to bring to the table to explain
She's
that.
just that guy.
But she is. And I would never go against the grain saying that. Sasha Banks is one of my favorites in the female division. But it's like,
a star is a star, bro. But some stars have, got a little bit more burn than another one. And it's not to say, to that respect, yeah, Cody Rhodes deserves all the respect in the world for what he did. But what I'm saying is, her star power was she shined brighter. He had to work to it. You can tell in her wrestling that she has a gift. That a lot of that was, easy to her. She's more LeBron-esque to what LeBron is with basketball. A lot of natural gifts. She has a lot of natural gifts. I think when it comes to Cody, things a lot of hard work, determination. It probably didn't come to him as quick.
yeah.
The business probably didn't. His vision for the business didn't fulfill as quick. He didn't want to do this at first.
Yeah. He said that himself in an interview. Like what you just said. Like, he had to work at it. It didn't come easy to him. He was seeing some of these people come from the independents working with his dad. He was jealous of them, Seth being one of them. And that's where that whole story with those matches came from. So that's a fact. So he definitely had to work for it. But just my whole argument was, the man still did some amazing shit. And
But the whole time he had to prove, and Sasha controls her own narrative no matter what she wants to do. Even if it's signed with AEW, if her contracts don't get frozen. And even if they got frozen, she just have to wait more time to get frozen. And I don't think another 6 months will hurt Sasha Banks at all. Nothing here will hurt Sasha Banks. If anything, you're giving her more of a space to sit and wait. The build for it, it's gonna get even bigger, even bigger. And guess what? That bag's gonna get even bigger, even bigger. She might not have a bag for 6 months, and then all of a sudden, that one bag she's gonna get is gonna be through the roof.
Yeah, she gonna get a bag wherever she go.
So I mean, it is what it is. I hope that this whole thing just leads to Sasha working the independents, not even maybe independents, but Wrestle Kingdom, Stardoms, any other Lucha Libre leagues down in Mexico. I hope that's what comes about, and I hope that means she comes back. Maybe not this year's Rumble, maybe next year's Rumble, a big spot. They put her in a big place, even if it's not for a belt. Period.
It'd be nice to see.
All right. On to the next. These have been some long subjects. What we looking like, Toon, right now? Time wise.
You had 55.
Sheesh. 2 subjects?
Yeah, pretty
Dang.
much 2.5, maybe 2.
All right.
I think we went on a couple of tangents.
So this will be a quickie though. Pause. Matt Riddle has been suspended. That's why he's been written off TV for his second failed drug test on medical marijuana, not even medical marijuana, but marijuana in general isn't tested no more in WWE. So it's more than just his shtick. The 420 bro.
Yeah.
He looks like he's a wild guy. Stories have been out there. His accusations along well. I wouldn't. Listen, he looks like he like to party with a Tesla too. I wouldn't be surprised.
Not at all.
Can't see him doing steroids. You think steroids?
Bro. No pun intended, bro.
But he's going to. Did you
I don't
read
know.
that WWE told him after the first time? That's why that match with Seth got pulled from SummerSlam.
Yeah, and push the clash.
And he refused to go to rehab.
Would they send somebody to rehab for steroids? Like, is that a drug that you go to rehab
I
for?
don't know, but they gave him an ultimatum, and for some reason, that's when I guess the whole Vince thing happened. So they kind of swept it under the rug. And they said when he popped dirty the second time, he agreed to go to rehab this time. But he's talking about his divorce because man's got a lot of personal shit going on.
He does. He does got. He can't see his kids. Like that could drive any man to do some shit.
But like we were talking about Vinny Mac, my man has some crazy allegations on his chest. Like, not even what our opinions are. If the stories are true, that's up and stuck. It's in the sky. I don't know. But man's got some gnarly accusations too.
True.
So they told him last time they would fire him. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like I said, that star power at the top is pretty heavy right now. Now, do I wish it was Baron Corbin or somebody? Yeah. But I don't think WWE's on bat an eye. Ron Breaker gotta get caught up soon.
And pray for the bro. That's all I can say. I hope whatever it is, he fights those demons and gets clean. I don't want to see him going through some bullshit with drug use, drug abuse, and all that shit.
Yeah, God bless him. And then, his tag team partner going out, probably put him somewhere on the card he didn't want to be.
Yeah, because, he was getting booked with Seth for a minute, booked strong, and then coming right out of that.
With Randy.
He was in a feud with Elias, a random-ass feud. So it was like, well, not a feud, but he was being booked with Elias. So it was like, you can just see where he just started falling down the card. He was high up, and now he's like lower level. So it's like.
But I don't think the card will really miss him, to be honest, while he's out, which is maybe a good thing.
Yeah,
He's not really hurting the TV at home.
They said he'll be in rehab for like 6 weeks, which is right around Rumble. So hopefully we'll see him there. Hopefully he gets clean.
Yeah, I'm sure the story will come out soon.
Pray for the bro.
Also this week, William Regal has been announced as new WWE Vice President.
Big time.
Which, going back into that Vince thing, it's like if Vince comes back, I wonder what it would do. But that's a big thing. Like, to have William Regal as your vice president,
it's huge.
That's more than just bringing in talent.
Right, that's huge. You can tell Triple H really trusts William Regal. They really got a good relationship. He put him in a good spot. And William Regal, I mean, he's proved his worth in the past, so I can't wait to see. That's just another reason why we don't need Vince back, but I want to see all this shit work out, play out how it's supposed to. It's almost like chess. They're setting up all the right pieces, getting people in position, and then hopefully 2023 we see a great year of wrestling. That's what it's looking like.
I think inside of Vinny Mac's heart, he's just a dude that dude that's been so succumbed in by his own success. I would never say he didn't put the work in, because during the Attitude Era, he was...
Dude is legendary.
Yeah, I think he's so ingrained into what he's done and the ups that he's just stuck playing every day. The dude was already, what, was he, definitely 70, right?
Yeah, I think he's like mid-70s. He's up there.
You should have been retired like 15, 20 years ago, but he just couldn't give it up. Dudes get addicted to the workload. I hope he doesn't come back, but I can see how that would trigger some things. But the way they're setting this company up, I like what Nick Khan's doing. He's showing that he can really work the Stephanie McMahon Triple H, and I was scared of that. I thought Khan was brought in to be like carry Vince's vision out.
Yeah, he seemed, and that might have been Vince the whole time, but he seemed like a Chip Kelly type ball. Like he was just bringing in people to pretty much sabotage the company. That's what it looked like from the outside in. But when's the last time we heard anything negative about Nick Khan?
Exactly. And they said him, Triple H, and Steph are like tied at the hip. Whenever you see one or the other, they're all there in the background.
Yeah, I mean, those two are married, so you know
it's gonna be a gap. But
yeah, they talk about this shit, you know, at Taco Bell. You know what I mean? So they're bouncing ideas off each other all the time. So I just feel like the company's in the best hands with them.
Correct. And like I said, I hope that the board could really say, nah, back up. I just don't know when it's such a family-owned company if the family will go against that man. Because you don't know if he holds their financial future in his hand either. Yeah. That's a little bit more than just WWE. That's money outside of WWE.
The trust, the McMahon family trust, some shit that we can't.
Because that family is already awkward as far as like the staying married just to make sure the money stays right. Like Vince is married, yeah, but he's not truly married. He's married paperwork wise, but they all just worry about keeping that money line straight.
That's big business.
What's his name? Shane's out there. The stories on Shane's kind of crazy.
I forgot about Shane O'Mac.
They were saying he was tripping at the Royal Rumble out there. They thought he was doing bumps.
Coked up.
Not wrestling
back
bumps
there with
neither.
the bro.
Word. So, I mean, I would just hope that the show runs smoothly and they could just work something out, man. Keep them away. I think sometimes, you rely on too much about how everything worked in the past. Because one thing's for certain, yes, the stars today could benefit as far as character work and how big the stars were back then. Or it could be anything like now in any sport. We want the athletes. And we're kind of getting away from the promos. But this is a debate I wanted to have with you.
You got to be the full package. You got to have you
What's
got to have
more important
promos.
now?
I think that,
or is it a company to company thing?
I think that in any company, like everybody likes their brand. I know what you mean. I think that everybody likes their brand of wrestling different. Like how you said, like now people are looking for the athletes. That's definitely a thing. People attracted to the indies where there's not a lot of promos. I get that, but to be a star in these companies, AEW included, WWE especially, you got to be able to get over with the crowd. You got to have charisma. You got to have great promos, and you got to be believable to be the full package. If you can't cut a good promo, like Austin Theory is great. He's a great promo. He's a great wrestler. That's why he's got a great future. His gimmick was trash when Vince was around with the cameras and that, but now he's showing aggression, a different type of approach. He's more believable. Now he looks like the full package.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're both equally as important. You got to be able to work in the ring, but also.
What's weird? So in WWE, a great match the crowd could give you 0 fucks. and you just no pop, no nothing.
True.
In AEW, the tag matches in particular, they ain't really like. Besides the Acclaim, the promos ain't the greatest for nobody in AEW. The Bucks really aren't the greatest promos neither.
They're decent.
They're just goofy.
They're goofy.
They run it like it's the YouTube show.
But that's their character, so I respect it for them. I mean, you got your MJFs.
But the crowd, basically, I'm saying for
Got your Ricky
AEW
Starks.
is the crowd watching you in the match. That will go over huge with the crowd, the flippity flip shit. But when the character is actually a character over there, that we seen with the Ricky Starks and the MJF situation this week, the crowd really still invests in the character. That character thing is real important, even if the matches ain't as good as they are with the guys that are just truly all athletic.
People buy into the characters, the promo work. That's what I'm saying. I think it applies for both. Like, you gotta have both. You gotta be able to back it up. Cause like Acclaim, their promos, I mean, they're more like rappers, and you know, they come out, that shit gets over with the crowd, but then they put on fantastic matches. So it's like they're super over, and then they throw in a legend like Billy Gunn.
And I like Acclaim because they're old school tag team. For real.
They're great. They're one of my favorite parts of AEW.
The problem is with WWE is, you can have great matches, but I think they only give the women that kind of respect. Oh, they put on a great match, give or take the promo skills. The men, they're not trying, bro. There's been so many times in the past year alone, the men put on a banger match, and that crowd is dead.
Yeah.
Especially mid-card matches.
Yeah, and
I texted you yesterday. I don't know what the problem is. You can have bad crowds, but to have this many bad crowds consecutively, you can't blame it on the crowd at that point.
I don't know if it's the towns that they're going to, or if it's just specifically Raw, because that show is too fucking long. Because they take main event before they go into Raw, so that's already an hour of wrestling, and then you get into a 3-hour show. That's a lot for anybody to take in. But like, there was matches yesterday that they should have been popping for. Gable and Styles, banger. That shit should have been getting so much love.
It was light.
Yeah, and the crowd was just like sitting on their hands like the whole day. So
and that whole, you said once again the Johnny Gargano segment was pretty much dead.
Yeah, it was crickets.
And then last night, the way that show ended was fucking weird.
Oh, with the Bobby Lashley getting fired, it was a cliffhanger. It was random. I don't know where the fuck that came from, because it was like an accident.
A word.
And then he was like, "You're fired." So maybe Bobby's just taking some time off. I don't know what that.
Bring the Hurt business back. I'm hoping that's what that leads to. I think the WWE just needs to, or Triple H needs to get these factions heavy again to make people, if we're getting new matches, like me and Nora was saying in the text thread last night, I think it works for everybody to have a faction. So it's not the same people fighting each other. You can cycle their mugs out. If it's like a 3-man faction, just cycle them and cycle them.
That's where he's putting those pieces in place. I mean, the OC adding, I don't know whose idea it was to add Mia Yim, but that was just fucking genius, because they look like a complete unit now with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just the presentation is just way better. And another match that was really good that the crowd was just sitting on their hands was fucking Candice LeRae and Io.
Oh, did you see the botches?
Oh yeah, heavy on the botches, but like the match itself was like really fucking good.
Yo, I thought Io really was out.
Yeah, when
For
she
a
landed on her
second
head.
Yeah, because it looked like they was trying to bring her back to life.
That's a fact. I definitely thought they needed to like call for the concussion unit or something, because she landed hard as shit on her head.
All right, so the last thing I really want to get out about last night, that Asuka one. I always say every woman's like my favorite, but it's really just like Charlotte, Asuka, Rhea, Bianca Belair. Like, those are my chones. And at any moment, Asuka and Charlotte can flip. Yo, Asuka, last night, she didn't have the face paint on. Already on Twitter, a couple days before, was saying the B word, this and that, was getting real, was flexing on them.
Mm-hmm.
Last night in that match, she just, they was strong style.
Oh yeah.
Yo, when Rhea kicked her dead in the throat, I thought they was throwing receipts in that match.
That was a banger too. That was a headline.
And remember when Rhea first came up, that was her head to head. That's the word Charlotte had to get thrown into the mix.
Right.
But the matches weren't clicking like that. Yo, they was heavy fisted last night, heavy feet. They was kicking the shit out of each other.
Yeah. That was a banger.
The one moment where I just seen Rhea kick her throat, I slowed the shit down to watch it again. Just took her throat out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, to them going at it.
And yo, so Toon was asking me in the car earlier, what do you think that miss comes from?
I don't know.
Like,
I be wondering, like, do they hold it? How long do they hold it? They gotta, like, put that shit in their mouth, like, low key.
That joint gotta be kind of big, bro. It's a lot of shit coming out of your mouth. If it's a capsule, unless they sneaking away water on the
I was gonna
commercial
say just
break,
like quick
because
shot.
that's a lot of shit.
Yeah. It beats me. That's because
But as serious as that match was and how hardcore that shit was, listen, I'm ecstatic about that. If that's the rivalry for now to lead up to like Rhea and Bianca probably, or even if that's just till we get Rhea and Becky. If this means we're getting what, Katana? That was her whole name? Katana?
Kana.
Something like that.
Kana.
Bruh, I'm gonna be stoked. Cause there ain't gonna be a better heel on that goddamn roster.
Yeah, Asuka needs some refresh.
More savage.
Asuka needs some refresh. I think that's a perfect look for it right now.
And give it up to Dom, yo. Dom is playing the biggest simp on TV. Bro, when
Mommy, I can't see.
Mommy.
It hurts. It burns. Mommy.
Bruh, when Damian Priest was like, I mean, it could be worse. Something else could be burning. I about fell out of the fucking seat.
Yo, I'm loving Judgment Day right now.
Yo, no cap. They are over like Rover.
True.
Over like Rover. And Dom just playing the super simp is crazy.
Yo, it's like they all play a position in that joint. Like they got really good chemistry. I like that team.
And tell me I was not wrong when I gave you the comparison of Rhea Ripley as Triple H and Dom is young Stephanie McMahon.
Bro, when you texted me that yesterday and I looked in the way that he's holding his face with the blue mist and she's like trying to hold him like this and pull him back to the ramp, I couldn't unsee it my damn self. I said, yo, that's definitely some shit that would happen to Stephanie McMahon and Triple H be trying to save her.
Especially old school young Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, like the game, my time.
Yeah. I'm like, yo.
Big facts.
This is crazy.
Big facts.
She's Rhea is a star. And once again, super young. Jeez. And the crazy part is when you got that wealth of talent that's so young, especially in the women's division. I think Bayley might be a little older. Becky's definitely older. Charlotte's older. But like you got stars in Rhea and Bianca. And as long as you have one of them on both shows, they're such mega stars that you're just building a roster full of jobbers to really job to them.
And you like that?
I don't. If put it this way, with the brand split, you need more bigger stars.
You got.
But if it wasn't a brand split,
around them.
But if it wasn't a brand split, you really wouldn't need to.
You got to build the roster around them. Having jobbers, that's cool, but having people that you know are just gonna lose, that's whack. Like I don't ever want to go into a match knowing that they can't win. Because there's no point in having a match.
They need to invest in women. There needs to be a woman version of a Chad Gable. They have to invest in women having characters and not just being wrestlers.
They got a few. Natty.
Get out of here.
I mean, it's the
Natty's
facts.
one of the most annoying wrestlers.
I mean, but it's the facts though. That's her position. So
she's on her way out of there too soon.
Alexa Bliss. I mean, they got a few. It's like people that aren't top tier, but they're still believable. Liv Morgan, like
Liz gonna be a mid-carder.
You got a few, but you need those, and they need to have legitimate runs too to make them more than what they were. That's like back in the day when you gave Kane a title. Like, you know, Kane ain't a top guy, but
he could be slotted as one.
he can be slotted
He
as
could be,
one.
but yeah, no,
But
you're
that's
not
what
wrong.
I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is, in them two women alone, you have Rock and Stone Cold.
But the Rock and Stone Cold would never be them without
Each other.
Rikishi. You know what I'm saying? Like another guy that's like a top guy, but wasn't really a top guy. You know what I mean? But Rikishi had to run with the belt. Like you need those guys. Like Chad Gable, I would love to see him with a main strap one time, just once.
It's not gonna happen.
He deserves it though. I'll tell you that. He's the full package. It ain't gotta be long. Maybe like a quick 1-2 month run. I can't wait till we get back to that, where we actually having like a rotation of champions.
Will that happen though, or is it the new way at WWE? These long ass runs.
I hope not. Because, like, this shit is dead, yo. I'll be saying that, like, Bianca had the title for how long? Braun Breaker had the title for how long? Mandy Rose had the title for how long? Roman Reigns had the title for how long? Usos how long? Like, all these long-ass runs, it makes everybody else just, what are you wrestling for? Like, what is the point? You know what I'm saying?
Alright. Last thing. Did you see I keep on saying last thing, but did you see the new rumor, Gunther versus Lesnar? I mean,
Yes. Not mad at that at all.
might be one of the greatest matches we see of all time.
Bro, I could see that Sunday night, first match on the card, fucking just on fire.
And I would hope that Brock probably won't, but gives the respect due to man Gunther. Give him the goddamn respect.
He should. That if that does happen, I would hope that Gunther pulls out on that one. I would hope so, that he wins.
And I would see Brock like, not today, young buck, not today.
I could also see Brock holding the Intercontinental Championship too, but even then it's
Brock
like,
ain't holding no goddamn IC.
that's what I'm saying. Even then it's like, why?
They must be thinking about taking that chip off him then. That's crazy they got Brock going for the IC. That means Brock is in cruise mode.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Like, let Sheamus take the chip off of Gunther just to give him that one that he never had. Not even at Mania.
So what are you gonna do, Drew versus Sheamus?
That could be fire. I don't know. I don't know where they go for Sheamus at Mania. I mean, you could put pretty much anybody with him, but just Brock and Gunther, just a run with no belt, just a fucking banger of a match. That could be ill. That's something.
That's it. Take it. Marquee match of the week.
You know what? I've been hearing about this fucking this Briscoes and FTR match as being like the best match of the year. So I'm gonna check that out.
If you can find it, good luck. Send it to me because I refuse to watch it on the website. I don't want to put it out there so it gets shut down on that website because they keep putting ads in it every 2 minutes and I can't watch it no more.
Oh,
that
shit.
Once it's under Daily Motion, it's ads every 2 minutes if you're not watching it live.
Oh damn.
So I always use like the third option.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with the pop-ups, keep Xing it out like 4 times in the video play.
Yeah.
But there was only the Daily Motion option to watch that show.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be on the hunt for that. So I could be changing my marquee match of the week to that based off of what I'm hearing. But for right now, as it stands, you know what? I gotta rock with that NXT Deadline Men's Survivor Series match or whatever
The
the fuck
men's
it's called.
match?
That shit to me was just fucking phenomenal, dog. Like that shit was fucking amazing. I love the way that they used the penalty box, and like you got Axiom and McDonough in there boxing.
Axiom went off.
Yo, he snapped. And who impressed the fuck out of me was Joe Gacy. He actually made me a fan of him based off of his work in that match. Joe Gacy was
That boy Axiom, I know like people say like Ricochet's a real Power Ranger, Rey Mysterio Power Ranger. Yo, that boy Axiom is a real Power Ranger. Yo, his kicks were sending people into the shadow realm. When he got the quick early kicks. Yo, who was he in there first with?
JD McDonough.
Yo, he floored them. Them kicks so that they hurt like
Yeah, that shit was definitely a go. I give it to them.
Nah, my match this week, I already said that it's gonna be the Oscar rematch. It just hard hitting.
Yes, sir.
That was bad women smacking meaty meat.
That's meat I ain't mad about seeing smack.
Word.
Meaty cheeks.
Alright, man, Top T.
Nori Omega.
We out here.
Peace. Keep marking out.
Oh shit.
I'm doing